Hi, boys and girls. We're going to have a Bible story together. So I wanted to ask you to help me bring Samantha out. You see her house right over here? Hey, she's wanting to come out for story time. Come on out, Samantha. Hi, Samantha. And Samantha, I'm sorry, but there are numbers right next to your house. Can you stand right there in front of your door? Oh, she said sure. She's so polite. Okay, I'll ask them. Samantha says, please be quiet because I have teeny tiny mouse orejas ears. We'll do that for you, Samantha. Sure we will. Okay, so our story today comes from the Bible, comes from the book of Matthew. That's in the New Testament, the first book of the New Testament when Jesus was still here on earth. And it says that all day long, Jesus had been busy teaching children and grown-ups about God. Oh, remember right before this story, we had the one where Jesus was loving the children, where he wanted the children to come to him. And they got to climb up on his lap and they got to sit with him and listen to his stories. And they got to hug him and be right next to him. So all that has been going on. Jesus has been teaching the grown-ups and the children. And then right after that, as he was starting to leave, a very, very rich young man ran right up to Jesus and he knelt down on his knees right in front of Jesus. Teacher, teacher, asked this rich man, what should I do so that I can live forever? Jesus looked down into the young man's face and said, if you want to have life that lasts forever, do all the things that God has said to do. Well, which things? The rich young man asked. Well, you know what God has said to do, Jesus answered. Do not hurt anyone. Do not take anything that does not belong to you. Do not tell lies. And love and obey your father and your mother. Love others the same way that you want to love yourself and you want to be loved. The rich man asked, or he said to Jesus, I have obeyed all of these things since I was just a little boy. He had done a lot of right things. Jesus knew this. Jesus loved this young man, but Jesus knew that the man loved his money more than he loved God. So Jesus said, there is still one thing you need to do. Sell what you have and give the money to the poor people, and then come and follow me. Well, that rich young man had a lot of things that he could sell, that he could give away to people that were poor, that didn't have very much. He had a lot of things that he could give to others to help them. But he did not want to share it. He wanted to keep it all. And this one thing was the one thing that he just would not do. He stood up, he turned around, and sadly, he walked away from Jesus. Then Jesus asked, why has he left? But Jesus knew. Jesus turned to his friends. It is very hard for people who love money to love and obey God also. Jesus' friends were surprised. What had Jesus said? Jesus said, it is very hard for people who love money to also love and obey God. Jesus' friends were surprised at this, so they asked Jesus another question. They said, well, then who can have life that lasts forever? Who can have this then? Well, Jesus told them, you need God's help to love and obey him. Jesus told his friends, with God's help, anyone can live with God and Jesus forever. They can live with me forever in heaven with God's help. God is the one who will help us to do what is right and what is good. God is there to help us. Jesus wanted his friends to know that with God's help, everyone can love and obey him. God will help everyone to do good things and to share with others. Yes, only one person is truly perfect and good in every way, and that's Jesus. And God and Jesus know that only Jesus can do everything perfectly and exactly right. So that's why we have their help. We have Jesus's help and God's help to try to do what is good and to try to do what is right and to learn how to love each other and how to obey. So God and Jesus are there for us. So if we're having a hard time with doing what is right, then we can just ask Jesus to help us. Maybe we're having a hard time sharing today, and we just really didn't want to share one of our favorite toys or favorite games that we like to play. So we could just ask God to help us. We could just stop for a moment. Dear Jesus, please help me to want to share and to be better at sharing my things with others. Please help me to show others that I do love them and that I care about them and I want to do what is right. Thank you for your help, Jesus. And that's all we need to do is just ask Jesus to help us and to show us how we can be kind and nice and share and to give love to everybody. They're always waiting right there for our questions and to help us. So let's put a couple of these pieces that I have on our storyboard today. Who was in our story who had been helping everybody and loving on those children? Jesus. Jesus. And right as he was getting ready to leave that group that he'd been with, who was it that ran up to him? Was it another child in the story? Was it a mom? Was it a dad? No, it was a young man, but he was very rich, had lots of money. He ran right up to Jesus and knelt right before him and asked him the questions of how he could be in heaven one day. And he just would not follow God's word and Jesus's teaching. He just needed to share. He needed to love and obey God's word. And one of the things was to share and to show kindness to others. And he just wasn't willing to share. And that was a very sad day for that man. But it doesn't have to be sad for us because we can share and we can ask Jesus to help us. And he'll be right there to help us. So I am going to read another story about sharing in my next video. So I hope that you'll tune in for that one too. It's going to be with some characters that you know. So I will see you in that video. Bye-bye for now.